Welcome back to the Old History Project YouTube channel. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please see the description below for links to my Facebook page and podcast. Welcome back to the Old History Project. So today we got a really interesting site here, thing we're about to cover. So before we do, remember to check the links in the description for all the sources and links to any PayPal, stuff like that, in case you would like to donate. Alright, so donations is not required. So the other day, last week, I was contacted by my buddy who follows the page. He says that one of his friends found a cemetery on his property, and he gave me the name of it and all that, and just for all various reasons. I don't want to tell where it is because the guy ended up being somebody I went to high school with, and I want to respect his property and his privacy, you know. So I've done some research on this, and we're here in Hamblen County, by the way, and there is absolutely nothing online about this particular cemetery. Now, I did contact the Hamblen County archives, and I got one little piece of paper that was sourced from Mary Miller Ayer's survey of the cemeteries in 1996. She says that there was no tombstones visible, and that she thinks that it was a burial ground for the enslaved, enslaved people. Well, I'm here right beside of it, and I found 2 tombstones so far. And now in the 90s, just for some more background, in the 90s I didn't contact him. A fellow in the 90s named Steve Street headed a project that surveyed all the cemeteries in the county. Now, Mr. Street and I are pretty good friends, and I asked him about this cemetery in particular, and well, he couldn't even find it. He says we could never find it, so we just wrote down, I can't even remember what he said he wrote down in the book. So that being said, I've contacted Jim Claiborne, who isn't familiar with it, and the lady at the archives, Miss Cindy, wasn't familiar with it, and she's, of course, she supplied me with the paper, and I'll link it in right now. So without further ado, let's look into this right now, why don't we? All right, so whenever I pulled up, now this is in a pretty, woodsy place, and some people might recognize this place and might not even know who owns this property, but if you do, please keep it to yourself. We don't want somebody coming out here and disturbing what's left of, these graves. So I was shooting a video as the property owner. My buddy rolled up, and I just decided to make a new one. And while we were sitting here talking about it, I found a piece to that tombstone sitting right there. So there is no markings on it. There is some markings on it. Let me show you just what they are. So you've got those hash marks right there. And I don't know if this is just something that happened, or maybe they're trying to carve something on it. I have no idea. You got these marks down here, all these marks, and what looks like arrows and stuff. Now, some of that might be natural, but that, that's almost not natural. And then while I was clearing out some of the leaves, I found these stones right here, which I'm sure they were just put there to help prop it up. So this one here, it almost fits, perfectly right there, but there's still, there's no markings anywhere on either side of it. And then right here is another stone that I stepped on and about fell and broke my neck. So this one isn't loose, by the way. So I think that could be the burial stone for a child. So there are what look to be, there we go, that way you can hear me. There are more what appear to be crypts on down here. Now, while we're walking to them, I don't know enough about enslaved burials to make an assumption as to what this is. So I'll leave that up to you folks in the comments. This could have just been a regular burial, or maybe some, really, really poor folks. I don't know. I know that sometimes they put stones in circles, and sometimes they put sticks. Sometimes they were unmarked. I don't know enough about the subject to make that assumption. However, if somebody does watch my stuff that is educated enough to make that assumption, please let me know. Right here is what, in my opinion, and you guys really can't see it that good, is could be an excavated crypt. I mean, it's not really natural. It could just be runoff, but before you judge that one, there are two more down here. Now, I was looking up the records for this property, and I was looking up all the old maps and stuff. I really can't find much about it, but it's really close to what was a popular hotel back in those days. I don't know that there was ever any. There's a plantation here, but it was up the road a ways. Right here is what looks like another crypt. I say crypt, but burial spot, we'll say. There's another one right there, and that could be another one over there, but that could just be runoff. And so this right here is pretty unique. This path right here isn't really natural to the landscape. Really muddy, really easy to sink into. Well, you guys see what I mean, right? This looks man-made. This also could have been a road, an old road through here. I don't know. Back in 1935, on those maps, it didn't look like there was a road up through here, but so, armed with this knowledge, what would you folks say this is? Maybe this is just creek runoff from the hill right there? Excavated, maybe somebody was exhumed and buried somewhere else? Because there's absolutely nothing online that tells me otherwise. So just to be clear, I'm making no assumptions that this is in fact the final resting place of enslaved people. It could just as easily be a very early settler, or even a hastily buried Civil War soldier. It could even be somebody that died on the Oregon Trail. Who knows? There will be a part 2 to this video. I have some plans in mind and have made some phone calls. So please make sure you hit the bell button, subscribe, and make sure you like the Facebook page. That way you can watch the next part and you will know when it drops. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.